everybody, and welcome back to another J.K. Ryan Productions video. And here today, guys, I'm going to give you my first shoe review on my channel on my shoe called the Brooks Glycerin 18. So, there's the upper right here, guys, the midsole right here, and then the outsole. So, I'm going to talk about what I used it for in my running shoe rotation, what type of stuff I did with it. I'm also going to talk about how the shoe performed in certain conditions. So I'm going to give you all of that, guys, in this video. But before I talk about the shoe, guys, make sure you subscribe to my channel. I do more shoe reviews. Shoe reviews are coming, guys. I still have a bunch of shoes that I can talk about. So we're going to be doing a little bit more shoe reviews on my channel. Also, I do fun workout videos to get you guys motivated out the door for you guys to do your workouts. And the race vlogs and time trial vlogs are coming. And also, guys, a new series, be on the hunt for that. Make sure to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Strava. But with that, guys, let's talk about this shoe. Okay, guys, let's start talking about my Brooks Glycerin 18. So let's start out. Let's get some quick stats here. So the stack height in the heel is 31 millimeters. Stack height in the forefoot is 21 millimeters, and that makes it for a 10 millimeter drop. And in size 9, I don't know why everybody in their shoe reviews get how much the weight is in size 9. But we're going to do that. In size 9, this shoe is 10.2 ounces. So it's a little bit on the heavier side, but I did not necessarily feel that weight as I was running in it. So I'm going to talk about my first run in this shoe, the upper, the midsole, the outsole, and then I'm going to give my final impressions. I'm going to say this, my first impressions does not necessarily reflect my final impressions in this shoe. So I'm going to talk about my first run. We're going to start out with the first impressions. My first run in this shoe was a 55-minute long run. And it was about 80 degrees outside, and I took this shoe on about some grass, dirt, gravel trails, and overall, this shoe, it was not a very enjoyable run for me. I had hot spots throughout the whole part of the shoe. I did not feel that soft cushioning in the midsole. And overall, I was kind of a little bit worried how this shoe was going to do as the miles progressed, as I put more miles in it. But as I put more miles in it, I was pleasantly surprised. Now, that hot spot, so it did continue for the first 50-ish miles. No matter if I did it on a distance run or a long run, I would get probably 2-3 miles in and I would feel those hot spots. So I'm not sure if it was the temperature. I think that was the reason why, but we're going to talk about that in my final impression part of my shoe review. But that's how my first run went. Now let's talk about the upper right here. Now the upper has no wear and tear really whatsoever. Usually what would happen with my Brooks shoes in the past, right here, right around right there, I would have a hole right there, and it would just be after like 80, 100 miles, I would get that in my shoe. And then what would happen was, feet would get soaked right from there, socks would get soaked, and it was just not a very enjoyable shoe for me with those other pair of Brooks shoes. Now this shoe has been different. I've took a couple years off Brooks because of that, but this shoe has been different. So, as you can see, the upper, there's very little wear on the upper. Right here on the heel counter, it's a very stout heel counter, which I really enjoyed. It really helps keep my shoe locked down. And the tongue right here, it's a plush tongue, so it's not this thin piece. I got my Nike Pegasus 36 here. It's just not this thin piece of fabric right here. It is a very plush tongue right there. In the lockdown of the shoe, I did not feel any slippage as I was running. I felt really good lockdown, and I was not worrying about whether my shoe was going to come off. I could just really focus on those long runs. Now let's talk about the midsole. As I said before, I really did not enjoy this midsole, probably up until past 50, 75 miles in the shoe. But I was eventually able to definitely feel that cushioning in the midsole. I did not necessarily feel that ground contact, so I really enjoyed kind of just feeling that cushion. Even after I was doing a 10-mile long run, I could still feel that cushion, and my legs were able to feel really good. So that's one of the things I did notice about this Brooks Glycerin midsole. Now let's talk about the outsole here. Now there's a lot of rubber on the outsole here. They probably could save weight by taking a little of the midsole off, but I'm pleasantly surprised with how this midsole performed throughout all my tests I did. The first test I did was in a dirt / gravel / grass trail, and it performed really well. I did not slip and slide. It performed really well. I then took this shoe on this trail called the Wild Goose Trail. I did my first half marathon on that. If you haven't checked it out, they should be right there. Go check those videos out. There's a part 1 and a part 2. So I took that shoe on this trail. I did not race in this shoe. Just letting you know, I raced in my Saucony Endorphin Pro, but I did take this shoe on a recovery run there, and it did really well. There was no slippage. The trail is pretty packed down with the gravel, but it was a really nice ride. Then I also took it on another gravel trail, but there was a lot of gravel. Like, there was this much gravel. There was like this much gravel. And again, the shoe performed really well. I was not slipping and sliding throughout the trail. I was not worried my foot was gonna fall off. So I really enjoyed that part of this shoe. I believe I took it in rainy conditions, and in rainy conditions it performed again really well. This shoe performed really well. So let's kind of get my final impressions of this shoe. What have I used this shoe for, and what I think is great about the shoe. This shoe has become my go-to long run shoe. If I'm going on a long run, I'm wearing this shoe. I really enjoy the cushioning, and I also really enjoy how I can take this outsole on as many different surfaces: gravel, dirt, grass. It performed really well in all of those. Getting back to the hot spots, after those 100 miles, I did not necessarily feel those hot spots. I think part of the reason why I felt that was because it was really hot outside. So during the summer I felt it, but as the temperatures have cooled down from 80 degrees to like 50, 40, 30 degrees, I am not feeling those hot spots in this shoe. So I think the temperature has something to deal with it. Also, I really enjoyed the lockdown of the shoe, the plush tongue, the heel counter. It just kept me going. Now, I'm at 300 miles in this shoe right now. I'm thinking this shoe can go the distance, maybe 200, even 300 miles more. I'm going to keep using it, and I will let you know when I decide to not necessarily use this shoe. So guys, this is my thoughts on the Brooks Glycerin 18. With that, guys, that is the video. Make sure to subscribe, like this video, and turn those post notifications on for more of my content. New series announcement coming to my channel now that the half marathon is done, cross country is done. New series coming to the channel. You do not want to miss that announcement. With that, guys, so make sure to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Strava. You follow me on Strava, you can see all the training I'm doing. If you follow me on Twitter, I retweet some of my videos, and then on Instagram, I usually post about my videos, so make sure to follow me on all 3 of those platforms. Trivia question of the day: the Hoka NAZ Elite group down in Arizona is coached by what coach? Comment down below the name of the coach in the comment section below. With that, guys, so I'm going to sign off like I always do. The grind never stops.